And I suppose it's my last chance to say it.
Welcome to MsMojo, and today we're counting down more of our picks for the most tragic and tear-jerking TV scenes of all time. This list reveals massive plot points from most of these shows, so a spoiler alert is in effect.
You know I never meant none of that.
Number 20, Kevin's last voiceover, The Wonder Years. For 6 seasons, Kevin Arnold pines for his childhood friend Winnie Cooper and narrates his coming of age through an almost unrelentingly nostalgic lens.
And so Winnie and I had our one slow dance after all. But things wouldn't be the same between us. We were getting older.
While the two do end up getting together later in the series, all is not as it seems. In the series finale, the two spend a romantic night together, and Kevin leaves us with one final narration that pulls the curtain back on a lot of its rosy-eyed view of adolescence.
The next day, Winnie and I came home, back to where we'd started. It was the 4th of July in that little suburban town. Somehow, though, things were different.
He tells us that in the intervening years, his father passes away and he and Winnie move on without each other.
Winnie left the next summer to study art history in Paris. Still, we never forgot our promise. We wrote to each other once a week for the next 8 years. I was there to meet her when she came home, with my wife and my first son, 8 months old.
In an instant, The Wonder Years reminds us that it's not about happily ever after. It's about the fleeting innocence and wonder of childhood. Number 19, Marissa's Death, The O.C. Fans knew actress Misha Barton was leaving the show at the end of season 3, but no one was prepared for what a gut punch it would be.
Okay.
Yeah.
So weird talking about that night. Last time we were here, I was leaving, and now you are.
Marissa Cooper and Ryan Atwood went through a lot together, but it was a dangerous ex, Kevin Volchuk, who proved to be her downfall.
What is he doing?
What the hell?
All right, hold on.
Kevin drives Ryan and Marissa's car off the road. Ryan carries her from the wreckage as a mournful song plays, and she dies in Ryan's arms.
Baby, I've been here before. I've seen this room and I've walked this floor.
It's not just a proper send-off, it's almost operatic, played for maximum drama, and we're still not over it. Number 18, Over the Top, Blackadder. The 4th series of this historical comedy follows Rowan Atkinson's Blackadder as a fearful captain in the First World War.
I think the phrase rhymes with clucking bell.
Highlighting the folly and madness of war itself, the final episode sees him and his men having to face their fate.
I mean, I'm the last of the tiddly-winking leapfroggers from the golden summer of 1914. I don't want to die. Really, not over keen on dying at all, sir.
The jokes come to a halt as they realize what they'll have to do.
This is, as they say, it.
I'm afraid so, unless I can think of something very quickly.
In slow motion, we watch as they run into battle and seemingly to their deaths. Previous incarnations of Blackadder had managed to dodge all sorts of period-based deaths and mishaps, but even he can't avoid the all-encompassing destruction of modern warfare. Audiences couldn't believe the show went there. Number 17, Matt buries his father, Friday Night Lights. Not even Matt Saracen's successes on the football field can bond him with his father, Henry.
Get him next time, Matt.
You're sending me to Oklahoma.
Play football anywhere.
Go to hell, Dad.
What'd you say?
I said go to hell.
The two's rocky relationship is marked by tension and misunderstanding. In season 4, Henry is killed in Iraq. In the aftermath, we watch as Matt becomes distant and volatile, simultaneously having to process his father's death and their lifelong emotional distance.
I guess my dad was just a funnier person than he really let on. He was kind of private in that way, and I don't really know why.
But the part that really gets us is at Henry's funeral when Matt stays at the gravesite. He grabs a shovel and takes it upon himself to bury his father. For a show that constantly tugged at our heartstrings, they went way too far with this one. Number 16, Christina's goodbye message, Parenthood.
Hi guys, it's Mom. Duh. I figured out how to use the computer, so I thought I'd leave you a little...
Over 6 seasons, we saw the Braverman family go through an emotional roller coaster, but they always managed to pull through with humor and genuine care for each other.
I am very proud of you.
I hope we meet in the end.
In so many ways.
But Christina Braverman's cancer diagnosis was one of the show's most emotional storylines. In season 4, when sepsis lands her in the hospital, Christina directs her husband to a video she recorded for their children in the event of her death.
Hattie, golly, I am so incredibly proud of you. Honey, you are my beautiful, strong, smart, sensitive, lovely angel.
The idea alone is devastating, but seeing Christina bare her soul for what may be her children's last memory of her is easily Parenthood's most harrowing scene.
I'll always be with you. And I'm so lucky I got to be your mom.
Number 15, Candy's funeral, Pose. Set amid the New York City ball culture of the 1980s, the FX series constantly dished out wit and fabulousness, but it was also true to the lives of the performers who inspired it.
You won't regret your words. I'm a star. I know who I am.
In season 2, Candy Ferocity is murdered. Her friends, colleagues, and even a few enemies gather at her funeral, where the venerable community elder Pray Tell delivers a eulogy about the lasting legacy of Candy.
We didn't always see eye to eye, but she was still my sister. Like you all are my sisters, and my siblings, and my children, my cousins. Y'all know family don't always get along.
But it's much bigger than that. It's a tribute to all the real-life people who inspired her and who were cut down in their prime due to the same transphobic violence.
Today we mourn, but tomorrow we stand firmly together, never losing sight of who we truly are.
Number 14, Jen's video to her daughter, Dawson's Creek. Before she went on to become a multi-time Oscar-nominated performer, Michelle Williams was introduced to audiences on Dawson's Creek. In the series finale, a 5-year time jump sees Jen Lindley as a young single mother who is dying of a fatal heart condition.
I mean, from the second that I stepped out of that cabin onto the creek, I was the instigator, you know? Grow caused problems and rocked the creek and upset the delicate emotional balance of Capeside, and I don't want Amy to be that person.
Longtime friend and sometimes lover Dawson helps her record a video to leave behind.
By the time you see this, I won't be here anymore. And I know how much that sucks for both of us.
As if it weren't heartbreaking enough listening to her list all the things she needs her daughter to know and understand about life, Sarah McLachlan's Angel starts to play.
Be sure to make mistakes. Make a lot of them. Because there's no better way to learn and to grow, all right?
If you want to ruin a millennial's whole day, just remind them of this scene.
You don't be afraid, sweetheart. And remember, to love is to live.
Number 13, The Talent Show, Dairy Girls. This beloved comedy is constantly contrasting the goofy coming-of-age antics of a bunch of Northern Irish girls and the death and destruction of the Troubles.
We get expelled? Nobody ever actually gets expelled. Rhonda Gallagher hasn't even been expelled and she's an ARA. I'd say that's probably why.
This was never more affecting than in the first season finale. Just when we think things are ending on a light note with an innocent, kind of embarrassing, but ultimately hilarious dance at the school talent show, the show pulls the rug out from under us.
At least 12 people are thought to be dead and many more wounded.
Emergency services are urging anyone with medical training to come to the scene immediately.
The moment is suddenly juxtaposed with a news bulletin about a deadly bombing. It drives home the point that while these girls are at least trying to have a normal existence, there is always the looming threat of terrorism, violence, and war. Number 12, Denise Comes Out, Master of None. Aziz Ansari and Alan Yang's acclaimed dramedy took us deep on the character of Denise in this Emmy-winning holiday episode. The defining moment sees her finally coming out as gay to her mother, Catherine, played to brilliant effect by Angela Bassett.
Ma, I'm gay. You what?
As Catherine digests her daughter's admission, we're treated to inserts and flashbacks to all the signs of Denise's true self throughout the years.
Look at Denise over there, staring at D'Angelo.
In some ways, all the signs were there for her mother to read.
Oh, you used to make that look for Rachel from Friends. I always thought you were looking at Joey.
Joey? Ma, are you serious? That character was an idiot.
The intrusion of past conversations and interactions on the present moment illuminates the profound emotional weight of Denise's coming out. Number 11, Emily Demands to Go First, Gilmore Girls. Richard Gilmore lands in the hospital with angina in this Season 1 episode. Between the fast-paced dialogue, Gilmore Girls managed to slip in a truly devastating moment.
Now, if I could just find you some different sheets.
Our will is in my lower left drawer. Dennis has a copy in case there's a problem.
Maybe I can get Davo to bring some from home.
Emily, this is serious.
Emily Gilmore gave new meaning to the word staunch. She is demanding and perfect almost to a fault, and it's rare to see the cracks in her facade. But when faced with Richard's mortality, she makes one more demand, that she die first because she can't bear to live without him.
Richard Gilmore, there may be many things happening in this hospital tonight, but your dying is not one of them.
But
No, I did not sign on to your dying, and it is not going to happen. Not tonight, not for a very long time. In fact, I demand to go first. Do I make myself clear?
Yes, Emily.
Of course, Richard agrees. It's one of the all too infrequent looks at the softer side of Emily. Number 10, Rue's eulogy to her dad, Euphoria. The death of Rue's father is commonly cited as one of the main reasons she developed substance use disorder at such a young age.
I remember a couple of days before you passed away, you told me that if I ever wanted to be with you, all I would have to do is close my eyes, and we'd be together.
Season 2 delves deeper into this pivotal moment of her life. At the funeral, Rue's eulogy to her father is interspersed with their best and most tender times together.
You said that memories exist outside of time and have no beginning or end.
This would be heart-rending enough with the context, but it snaps all of her pain and self-destruction into focus.
I miss you, Dad. I miss you until I close my eyes.
Because as much as the memories of her father mean to her, they also fuel all the agony that she tries to dull with substances. Number 9, Jack's Death, This Is Us. The parallel storylines of two different generations of relatives was milked to dramatic and bittersweet heights over 6 seasons of This Is Us.
The house I grew up in wasn't an easy place to be a son. But it wasn't an easy place to be a mother, either.
We got to see the Pearsons at their lowest, but nothing could ever top the revelation of Jack Pearson's death. A fire on Super Bowl Sunday 1998 rocks the family's lives. Jack is the last out of the burning house, with the family dog in his arms, but his heroics come at a price.
I never got batteries for the smoke detectors. That you asked me 3 times and I forgot.
And I was more than capable of getting those batteries myself.
Okay, so then why'd you keep asking me?
He dies from a heart attack at the hospital, leaving his wife and children behind.
Mrs. Pearson, your husband has died.
Mom, I'm sorry. We were just here for a burn.
Yes.
On his arm.
Rebecca's shock at his sudden and unfair passing isn't just realistic, it's exactly how we feel seeing it.
Babe, Jack.
Number 8. ICE arrests Mateo, Superstore. In its 4th season finale, Superstore treated an ICE raid with its characteristic humor at first.
Mateo! Mateo! ICE is coming!
Isn't it winter is coming?
Did you guys see the finale?
Nobody spoil it. I've never watched the show.
The company's upper management sends immigration agents to the store for Mateo, who is an undocumented immigrant, and the Cloud9 employees all come up with increasingly wacky diversions.
Whoa! Nice piece, dog. Was it like a Cougar Magnum?
It's a Glock.
Ah, nice, very nice.
But the reality sets in that there's no way to curb the inevitable.
Stop, guys. It's okay. It's over.
Mateo is taken by the agents, while his devastated coworkers can do nothing but watch. Despite all the exaggerated sitcom trappings, it's a sobering twist. Number 7. Dr. Green's Goodbye, ER. Dr. Mark Green was diagnosed with a fatal brain tumor in the 7th season. By the end of season 8, Green was on his deathbed with his family at his side.
Sit with me. Sit.
Given the constant rush of the emergency room, it's fitting that Green instead spends his last moments in a serene and peaceful state. He dies in Hawaii as Israel Kamakawiwa Ole's rendition of Over the Rainbow plays. Mark Green was a longtime figure on ER, and probably the closest thing the ensemble medical drama had to a lead character.
Don't cry for me.
I won't.
Generous. Always.
No matter how much changed at Cook County General Hospital, Dr. Green remained. Losing him threatened to upend the entire show.
Somewhere over the rainbow, way up high.
Number 6. Charlie's Death, Lost. Amid the metaphysical mysteries of this game-changing survival drama, we could never be certain that any character was safe, no matter how beloved.
Hey, are you on the boat? Your boat? 80 miles offshore. Naomi, the parachutist.
I'm not on a boat! Who's Naomi?
Charlie Pace was a beloved fixture on the program's first 3 seasons. But once season 3 came, the writing was on the wall for him. He makes the ultimate sacrifice by sealing himself in an airtight room when the villainous Mikhail detonates a grenade, causing a flood of water to rush into the Looking Glass station. By sealing himself in, he makes sure his fellow survivors can get away, drowning himself in the process. Number 5. Jane's Death, Breaking Bad. Any idea that Walter White is just a good guy trying to do well by his family all but evaporates at this moment.
Jesse. Jesse.
His associate in a growing drug empire has begun seeing Jane, a troubled but loving young woman who also has a substance use disorder. But she threatens Walt with blackmail.
This is me telling you to do right by Jesse and bring him what you owe him. I don't call that blackmail. I call that you getting off your ass and being a decent human being.
Happening upon the unconscious couple after they've used, Walt sees Jane struggling to breathe and actively decides not to save her from choking to death. It's a harrowing and disturbingly realistic demise that ultimately proves one thing: Walt is willing to destroy Jesse's life and happiness in order to serve his own ends. Number 4. Adriana's Death, The Sopranos. Adriana Lacerva's sass and ability to stretch monosyllabic words into 4 or 5 syllables made her a fan favorite.
What do you think?
Of the script? Babe, I can't, give an opinion every time you add a sentence. I gotta have the whole story flow.
But when Christopher Moltisanti's longtime fiancé became an FBI informant in the 4th season, it became clear that her time was going to be up sooner rather than later.
They said all they wanted was some information and they would leave us alone. I didn't tell them nothing. I swear to God.
Her last episode is an experiment in terror. She's taken for one last ride into the woods by Soprano family enforcer Silvio Dante.
I'd stop to eat, but I don't want to get to the hospital after Tony.
Not hungry.
It's almost too much to watch as she fights and begs for her life because we know it was over the moment she got in that car with him. The only comfort is that she's one of the few deaths to happen off-screen. Number 3. The Doctor and Rose Say Goodbye, Doctor Who. When you're an immortal, interdimensional being who has to sometimes jump between planes of existence at a moment's notice, you probably meet more people than most. But no one had quite the impact on the Doctor that Rose Tyler had.
Can I just say, traveling with you, I love it.
Me too.
When the two are separated by a dimensional breach in Doomsday, it's one of the long-running sci-fi series' most wrenching scenes. The two are able to meet on a beach via hologram for one last time. However, before the Doctor can tell her he loves her, his hologram fails and the two are separated forever.
Rose Tyler.
The entire episode is a perfect fusion of science fiction, fantasy, and bittersweet romance. Number 2. James Sr. Dies. Good Times. This Norman Lear spin-off dealt with the Evans family, a working-class African-American family living in a Chicago housing project.
I want to talk to you about solving these problems. If you don't think shopping is a problem, try going with me sometime. While they got the whole world watching the price of gas, they are sneaking food prices up again.
The 4th season saw the Evanses prepping to move to Mississippi for better opportunities, but their dream came crashing down in one utterly tragic moment. When lead actor John Amos was fired in 1976, the writers killed off the family patriarch James Sr. in an off-screen car accident. They received the news at the worst possible time, in the middle of a going-away party with all their neighbors and friends.
We regret to inform you that your husband, James Evans, was killed in an automobile. Oh my God.
His widow Florida Evans's grief hit the hardest. Good Times continued on without James, but things were never quite the same.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications.
Number 1. Archie Alone, Archie Bunker's Place. After All in the Family ended in 1979, the Bunkers actually lived on in a sequel series, but viewers began to see less and less of his beloved wife, Edith.
Oh, Archie, that ain't gonna happen to me. I'll be all right, and so will you.
Oh, I ain't thinking of me. Don't think of me. Put me right out of your mind.
I did.
Then, when Archie Bunker's Place returned for its 2nd season, Edith was written out and Archie was left a widower. After he finds one of her slippers, the normally stoic Archie begins speaking to his deceased wife as if she's in the room with him.
It wasn't supposed to be like this, you know. I was supposed to be the first one to go.
Then we watch him fall apart with sobs as he faces the reality that his wife is really gone.
You had no right to leave me that way. Without giving me just one more chance to say I love you.
It's a far cry from the irascible, angry Archie Bunker we're used to seeing. What heartbreaking TV moment is forever burned in your memory? Tell us in the comments.
I'm gonna go to my house and write, and then probably try to go to sleep. You?
Well, I guess I'm gonna grocery shop.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from MsMojo. And be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.